Hey everybody, thanks for joining today. I'm Nate and I lead the ChatGPT for Business product team. Now today's live stream is all about how we help bring your organization's unique work context directly into ChatGPT. And so the way that we do that is we enable you to connect your internal knowledge sources to ChatGPT so that you can find the most relevant information at the right moment. We also respect all of the existing user permissions inside of your organization, and we keep your data private and secure within the team and enterprise workspaces. So there are two experiences that we're going to walk through to show how we bring this context in. The first is connectors to your internal data to power deep research and also just everyday queries with ChatGPT. And the second is record mode, where we can capture and help you make better use of all the information that is spoken in meetings but isn't necessarily written down. And so I can personally attest to the fact and the power about these products. We've been using these every single day within our teams as we're dogfooding. It's just amazing to see how we can take the breadth of information that we have at OpenAI and that we're creating every day, be able to synthesize that down with really targeted queries, and then be able to use that for actionable insights that drive our product work forward. So we've been really excited to play with it. We're excited to show to you all. So joining me is several members of our product and our research team. So we have Neel, Preeti, and Dibya. So they're going to take you through the demos here. So I'll pass it over to Neel.
Sure. Thanks, Nate. I'm excited to show you all how we're using connectors to accelerate our own work here at OpenAI. Now, we can't show you our own internal data, but we can show you how connectors work on a fictitious company we've created called AGI Corp.
I think I'd like to work at a company like that.
I hear it's pretty good. So AGI Corp, a few months ago, launched one of my favorite fictitious products, Animal GPT. It's a new family of models that translates animal noises to human text.
What animals are we working on?
I think we've launched Bark to Text, and on the roadmap is Meow to Text coming up. But we're right now in the middle of Q3 planning and kicking it off. So as a team together, we're going to use our connectors and all of ChatGPT to help us kick off that whole planning cycle. We'll start off by using deep research and connectors to help us understand a little bit more about some of the upcoming partnerships and launches we might have going on. So I'll go ahead and open ChatGPT and hover over deep research. Now, if you remember, deep research launched in February of this year and is a new agentic capability in ChatGPT that allows you to extensively search and analyze the web. Now, one of the big pieces of feedback that we got from users is that they wanted to not only deep research over the public web, but over all of their private sources. And so when you click on deep research now, you're going to see a new sources drop down. And opening that, you'll see that deep research now not only connects to the web, but to all of your favorite apps, everything from GitHub to Gmail. I'm going to go through and toggle on a few that I'm particularly excited about for this next query. I'll do HubSpot, and then Outlook, SharePoint, and Teams. And what I want to ask ChatGPT is a little bit more about some of the potential distribution partnerships we can lean into for Bark to Text and Animal GPT. So I'm asking the model, hey, we're doing Q3 planning for Animal GPT, and we're excited about potential distribution partnerships. Can you take a look at HubSpot and tell me what open deals are most likely to close that overlap with our company strategy? And I'm going to have it cross-reference those with any discussions and kickoffs that we have in SharePoint, Teams, and Outlook. So I'll go ahead and kick off that query, and deep research will go ahead and ask me some contextual questions specific to the applications we have right now. So it's asking me about the company strategy. I'll say AGI Corp wants to advance AGI. But focus, it is a good one. Focus on deals with high revenue potential and high likelihood to close in Q3. Make sure to cross-reference across all the Microsoft apps. And with that, deep research is going to go ahead and kick off. And it's going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes extensively searching all the different apps that I've pointed it towards. Now, the really awesome thing is that a query like this would have otherwise taken me or my team hours or even days to comb through HubSpot, Teams, chat, CRM, messaging. And instead, deep research is going to go ahead and do that in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, and I think there's something really powerful about being able to extend our team's capabilities as well. So, things like CRM data are likely data sources that Neel and other product members may not be as familiar with. And now you're able to get answers from that really quickly.
Absolutely. And it's not just CRM. I use this feature all the time to search GitHub. I'm sure our engineers thank it for not letting me bother them every day. Cool. Well, deep research takes a couple minutes to get started. So in the meantime, I'll hand it over to Preeti and Dibya to show us what else we can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Neel. So while deep research is going on, as Neel said, it's great for really comprehensive reports around a specific topic, but a lot of times you just want to quickly go back and forth in the context of your everyday work. So we're going to show you, how you can augment that with bringing in additional knowledge to really streamline the work you do in ChatGPT itself. So I'm going to open up a new window here while deep research is going on. And we're going to use this to kind of get up to speed on some of the things going on at the company, triage a bunch of documents and data across our file storage systems that we use here at AGI Corp, and then pull together a synthesis of what we should be working on. Sounds like we have a lot of exciting work with Bark to Text and Meow to Text coming. So let's start kind of going broad. Like I said, we're new here, so we just want to get up to speed. So I'm going to ask something like, ChatGPT, get me up to speed on our Q2 marketing and product strategy. And I'm also curious about revenue. So I'll say, what features drove the most revenue in Q2?
So there are a few ways to invoke a search. We've post-trained the model to be good at understanding when the user's question requires internal knowledge. So in those cases, it will try to automatically trigger that, like it's doing here. But if you just want more direct access, we've also built a new tool into the composer that you can use to manually toggle on sources that you want ChatGPT to search across. So you can see that in just a few seconds, Preeti got a pretty in-depth summary of our Q2 plans. Do you want to talk about some of the sources that the model's showing here?
Yeah, like Dibya said, I mean, the great thing here is that not only do we get a really clear summary within a couple seconds, but each part of the model's response is actually showing us what sources it's pulling from. So we can verify the information, we can dig deeper, and then we actually have a source tab here. So if you want to engage individually with certain documents, I can ask it to deep dive on individual documents if I want to continue my research there. All of these sources, like Nate said at the beginning, are permission aware and enforced. So I'm only able to see the documents that I have access to. Here we're signed into my account, so I work very closely with our board team here at AJ Corp, so we can see that I have access, and it's pulling up some of the board decks, but actually looks like Dibya doesn't, so don't look too closely.
I mean, it's fine. They don't give it to Neel and I either.
Keep us in the dark.
Okay, so
easier.
coming back to the summary here, as Neel was mentioning, it does look like Bark to Text v2 is doing pretty well. So maybe let's see if we have any information on engagement. It looks like retention was pretty good, but let's see if we can get up to speed here. So let me ask ChatGPT to generate a time series plot of daily active users for Bark to Text v2. And it looks like ChatGPT is automatically launching into data analytics mode. So I use this feature a ton, and normally the way I would do it is I would have to upload spreadsheets that first kind of go into Google Drive and find where the data is located, then manually upload it here. Here, the great thing is it already has context on my enterprise knowledge, so it's able to automatically draw in that data so I can get straight to work. So here, within a second, I was able to look up, a pretty generic query on what DAO looks like for Bark to Text v2.
Yeah, it looks like we're crushing it. I'd love to see that.
Probably it's time for Meow to Text. And to help us with that, I actually think our user research team was doing a bunch of user interviews. Let's see if we can find anything relevant there. So let me ask ChatGPT, find user interviews from Dropbox from recent pet owners. There we go. And now, as you can see, I'm kind of using natural language to filter down the query a little bit. I have a few different parameters here, and Dropbox was highlighted because it's telling the model that I should prioritize data from there. So we've built a little bit of a UI to let you know that the model is really prioritizing that source as well. So based on the specific query parameters, I asked it for recency, I asked it from Dropbox, and I asked it from pet owners because, as Neel was looking at, we have a ton of stakeholders ranging from vet clinics to different kind of partnerships. So I just wanted to look at pet owners specifically as we think about Meow to Text v2. And we have a few different user interviews here. So normally we'd kind of go through and read all of these, which would take a bunch of time to synthesize. As a PM, I spent a ton of my week doing that. But let's see if we can kind of bootstrap that and ask ChatGPT to help synthesize for us. Let me ask synthesis of these interviews to pull top pain points and ops ranked by return on investment. And then I want this to be immediately actionable. So let me say something like, turn this into a Q3 plan and generate a doc. And as the last thing, a lot of times when you're doing your work, it's most useful if it's actually in the language and the way that you actually work within your company. So I'll ask it to cross-reference our template to format it in the right way too. Let me ask.
And this is our Q3 planning template?
Yes, look up our planning template doc and follow that.
So behind the scenes, once the model's decided that it needs to use internal knowledge to answer the user's question, it's going to go ahead and rewrite it into one or more contextualized queries with different attributes like how recent it needs the results to be, or what sources it wants to filter down to for the search. And then our search backend can operate on these queries and return the most relevant results that the user already has permissions to view. And then given these results, the model can then decide to go back and ask follow-up questions or dig into some of these files by opening them, use some other tool, or just answer right away.
Yeah, and it actually looks like in the last couple of minutes, I lost access to the planning template. I guess some things changed around here, but that kind of shows you how permissions are always respected here, and it's really up to date, and that's really important to how we built the system. So within a couple of seconds, we were able to go through and get a prioritized list of what we should be building, some core metrics that we look at, as well as some of the core work streams here. So it looks like, Neel, you're going to be working on contextual intelligence, and I'll be working on our pet memory layer. But we have a busy Q3 ahead of us. So that was just kind of an end-to-end flow on how bringing in some of your enterprise knowledge will really augment the work you do in ChatGPT and can help you centralize a little bit more. So we're excited to start rolling this out today across file storage systems where enterprises have a large portion of their enterprise knowledge. So Google Drive, as well as SharePoint, Dropbox, and Box in beta. This is rolling out for Teams, Enterprise, and EDU. And just as a reminder, by default, we don't train on any data across Teams, EDU, and Enterprise, as well as, and that includes any connected data as well.
So this is still early days for connectors. While connectors remains in beta, we're excited to see how you use this with your work, and we are committed to continuous improvement and testing.
Great. Thank you, guys. Now I want to invite another one of our PMs over to sit with us, who's going to talk through the next feature of record mode. So Sondra's going to be joining us, and I can assure you there is nobody who is more excited for me out to text than she is.
Thanks, Nate. That's right, I'd love to talk to my kittens. All right, so having the ability to get answers across all your documents and data sources is a huge win. But we also know that that's just really half the story, right? A lot of the important decisions and context from our work actually happens in the conversations that we have with our teammates.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we're introducing ChatGPT Record Mode. It's a way for us to help make sure that your notes are complete, that they're not scattered. You're also not having to just, multitask during a meeting where you're really trying to engage and you're having to take notes at the same time. So with Record Mode, what we're introducing is on our macOS desktop app, you will see a circle icon button next to all of the other voice options. And with just clicking on this button, you will get a recording. So right now, ChatGPT is recording all of our audio, and on the back end, it's transcribing that audio, and it's going to generate a really useful summary for me afterward. So for now, we're not going to record this session, so I'm going to go ahead and just close this out. But let's look at, AGI Corp's Q3 Pounce plan. So the team last week was doing a brainstorming session around personality-aware translation, and they were really talking through the different options that they had. And they recorded that session, so you can see that there is a structured meeting output here. And if you navigate down the page, what you'll see is that there are key points, action items, and most importantly, they're always citing the transcript. So if I have more questions about, hey, the energy trait, that's where we're going to focus our personality translation on. What was spoken about that? Like, what should I know about that? It's going to go highlight that section exactly in the transcript, so you always have that full context.
These timestamps are awesome. It makes it really easy to figure out where exactly the things were said.
And like we said, we use this every single day inside of the teams, and it's being able to kind of go from the summary to the transcript is really, really powerful. So if I were in a meeting and I were going to share something back with Sondra and she didn't have full context, she's able to get the kind of TLDR on the summary, but then also go to the individual details when she needs to.
Yep, exactly. The great thing too is, let's say like we fast forward a couple of weeks and I'm trying to remember what actually happened in that meeting, right? And this happens all the time. Things move fast at OpenAI, and so I imagine they move fast at AGI Corp as well. And let's say I was saying, hey, like what were the technical limitations that we discussed at our Q3 planning? I can go ahead and send that note to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to scan across all of the data sources, again, docs, data sources, but also our transcripts. They're included in that overall corpus as well. And so you can see, hey, you know, what we flagged was the latency issues, the GPU resource constraints, and with it, you have all of these embedded links directly into the transcript. So again, you can have that full context. And then from here, what's really great is I might ask, okay, help me draft a leadership update on our Q3 roadmap. We definitely don't look far enough
Get
for
to Q4?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, so like just like that, something that would have taken me a lot of pinging folks, trying to get the full context of the meeting, those other teammates trying to remember what happened in the meeting, all of that's actually captured, and ChatGPT becomes your second memory, right? And so with that, I'm able to both recall, understand clarity on what the decisions were made, and then immediately turn that out into a leadership update that normally would have taken me a bunch of time. So with that, I would love to, Neel, show us what Deep Research is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sondra. Cool. So as you remember, earlier we kicked off a deep research query that was looking at all of the different partnership and distribution deals we might be able to do with Animal GPT as we go into Q3. So it looks like now, if we come back to ChatGPT, Deep Research has actually spent 9 minutes doing a really comprehensive search of all of these different applications. And it's pulled together what seems to be a really comprehensive report on all of our distribution partnerships. So you can see in ChatGPT, the model's put together some really great summary insights, some top Q3 opportunities in a really good table too. So it shows us opportunities, deal stage, close dates, revenue, strategic fit, cross-reference discussion. And the awesome thing too is that it's pulling all the different citations from all of the different sources that we've hooked it up to. You can see HubSpot, Teams, SharePoint, and Outlook all put together here. Again, this is the kind of work that would have taken me, hours to do, and we got it all done in minutes. Now, we just showed a small set of connectors just now with Deep Research, but the amazing thing is that we've added a whole new set of connectors that are launching today with Deep Research, just to go down the laundry list so we all see them together. We've got Box, Dropbox, GitHub, Gmail, Calendar, Google Drive, HubSpot, Linear, Outlook Calendar, Outlook Email, SharePoint, Teams.
What's that Whisker DB?
That is not a typical first-party connector. That is a custom connector powered by MCP, or Model Context Protocol, that I've loaded up into ChatGPT. We're excited to announce that ChatGPT is now supporting MCP custom connectors, building on the work that we've done with the Responses API over the past month. What this means is that if you're an admin for an enterprise or team workspace, you can connect a custom MCP connector and publish it to your organization. This is really awesome if you have custom databases like WhiskerDB that you want to expose to all of your users. And if you're a pro user, you can also connect custom sources and publish it to your own personal ChatGPT. Not only that, but we're also partnering a lot more with the ecosystem. In fact, the HubSpot connector that we just demoed wasn't built by us, it was built by the HubSpot developer team. and it's the first MCP custom connector that we've published directly in our registry.
Yeah, that's great. So there's one more thing that I want to chat with you all about before we break today. So to support the diverse way that all of you, all of our customers use ChatGPT, we're making our pricing much more flexible. So tangibly, what this means is that we're adding credits to all of our existing workspaces across enterprise and team. And so your users now will get full access with their existing plans to all of our most intelligent and advanced model features and new models that we're rolling out. So this is going out to enterprise today and will be launching to team in the next couple of weeks. So now I want to recap all the different pieces that we've talked about today and kind of bring it back together. So what we showed you is how ChatGPT is able to take your company's context and make it more relevant, actionable, and accessible across your entire employee base, leveraging connectors and record mode. Now, we believe this just is going to help make ChatGPT just a much more powerful collaborator for your teammates. We're really excited to see what you all built. We've had a ton of fun building it ourselves and using it internally. So please let us know feedback on LinkedIn. Let us know what you think. Really appreciate you all joining us today, and we'll see you soon.